Hello and welcome to the PM Show, your weekly roundup of all that's new and going on in the modelling world. And here we are with you on the 11th of August, almost halfway through August, and it's feeling autumnal already. It's a bit cold in the mornings. What's going on? Where did summer go?
I know, yeah. It's, I'll say now, the nights are drawing in really quick.
Do you know what? It was funny. I said that. It's like 9 o'clock and it's getting proper dark. And it's like, yeah, what happened? Never mind. All good. Anyway, no Mr. Molyneux today. Andy's off.
Yes.
So it's just me and Matt, who's recovered after being down here for the weekend.
Just
about. Just about. But he was kept very, very busy because obviously he's been doing reviews and things. So that pile that he's got next to him, we've reviewed and been going up as well. So that's all good and going along. So thank you, Tim and Nathan, for doing some this week's reviews for me. As I said, I'll be stepping down. I'll leave it to you guys. It's great. It's nice to see it from the other side of the camera.
Hey, I'll just introduce Nathan because he did all the work, really. I didn't do a lot. So
it is handy when you know somebody knows the model well, you know.
Yeah. Well, so. Yeah, he did a good job, I thought. His school teacher in him.
That is it. It does come through his presentation work. He's very clear and precise and not like us. No. Where we're like, yeah, I don't know what that bit is.
I'd be, just a bumbling idiot as usual doing them. But no, he's all right. And saying that we had a few soft drinks, shall we say, before we started. Yeah.
I must admit, I have got an out clip which may air at some point in the future, and it's Nathan sat here literally with a pint of cider.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was going to be the thumbnail originally, because he's literally sat there, and we were all on the cider around here as well. But it's quite a good one because he's got like the kit in one hand, cider in the other. So I can see a meme coming along with that one at some point. But he's got a sprue in one hand, pint in the other, and he's like, "That's the best way to look at kits."
Yeah, off cup.
Yeah, through cider glasses, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, it was a really nice weekend and really enjoyed it. And obviously, thanks to you and Tams for putting up with us all for
no problem.
A few days.
It's nice to have 14 of you in the house. It's lovely. It amazed me the amount of bog roll we went through.
I tell you, imagine it's.
You know when you put 4 in the room and you think that'll do.
No, clearly not.
Yes, that's it. But no, it's great to have you all down. Obviously, we were discussing a few things as well on the serious note, what plans are for the future and what we're up to and all stuff like that, because it's good to get us all around one table, isn't it, and sort of pass around a few ideas and various things. So we got a few things all sorted out as well, so that was good. And I'd say doing the reviews with you guys, because Matt obviously brought a load of stuff down, as you can see next to him, and to be honest, I've got next to us here somewhere. Where have I got it? It's down in there. Was obviously the border models one, and then obviously the chipmunk and stuff. Matt took a load of his stuff back, which is very nice, because now I've got my studio back as well, so I've got a bit of room to swing cats and things. Everyone needs a hobby. So yes, it's all gone very, very well, and good job. So but yeah, so if you want to start with that, we'll start with the border models one.
Yeah, why not? Obviously it's up now for review, to watch the review on on this little kit here. Really quite impressed. I think it's one of them where when you do a review, you're not expecting much, but you're pleasantly surprised. Yeah. I think we all was as we were sat there doing it. I know obviously Nathan did the bulk of the work, actually, going through it and reviewing it.
Yes.
It's one of them kits. It's got brilliant touches, really nice stuff, and then there's some glaring errors to me as well, which is a shame.
Yes.
As in, obviously, it's got no dials.
Yeah, so you got no instrument wise.
Else.
You just got bezels, isn't it, for
it's got the bezels and everything else, but no dials to put in it, and it's got no seat belts.
No.
Which, again, I can't get my head around why they've not done, even if it's just a decal seat belt, or because there is obviously you do, as you can see on the side when we were showing it, there's different sort of packages you get, because this is the limited edition.
Yes.
First boxing of that border model do. They've done it with the tank kits as well.
Yeah.
So obviously you get a choice of figure which you don't know what you're going to get until you open it up. Potentially photo etch. What was it? Metal
props.
Prop, or some rockets. But it would have been nice, like I say, to add some seatbelts.
again, I think it is that thing, you know, I've got some of the close-ups, the stills from Nathan's review. It's got gorgeous details, but when you're dealing with a, you know, technically a AAA title kit, as this one's being pushed as, obviously it's in 35th scale as well, which we'll talk about in a moment, but it's just because if it's in that scale, you would expect the basics, and like harnesses and instrument panel would definitely be one where you're thinking it would have been more looked at, but it's like they've overlooked that and put the detail in other areas. You know, like you said about this, which is a nice touch, but obviously clearly what they've done, they've just done the sprue twice. Once is in styrene, once in the clear. But you can use these as blanks for masking purposes. So you can keep your clear parts for best, and then you can obviously use the, you know, these are for when you're in your painting and weathering stages and things like that, if you don't want to ruin your clear parts, which again is a nice touch. We've seen it with other manufacturers do it as well. You know, and generally all the parts were nice and detailed, and the metal props, we were saying, nice touch, because if you wanted to do a crash diorama, you can bend them, which is, you know, somewhat, I know it can be done, but it's a right pain when you're trying to do it with styrene. So again, and you can weather through it, because as like Nathan was pointing out, they were metal on those as well. So again, it's quite nice. The figure, again, nice option, but not knowing what you're going to get. You know, again, it was a little bit sort of hit and miss what you're going to get. I know some other of the Flory members have posted up pictures of theirs, what they got. We were clearly comped.
Just, you know, just while you're just on about the figure, I am just wondering, now with the harnesses, because obviously he's sat down. Obviously, as you can see, and there is a couple of options of two-seated pilots. So I wonder if you get the standing pilots, you get harnesses to replace, because obviously if he's sat in the cockpit, you're not going to need harnesses for him, are you? Aftermarket harnesses are not needed. So I'm actually wondering if you get the standing one, you do actually get a set of harnesses. I do not know, because
photo etch. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good point. So if anybody has got a standing pilot in their set, do you get the harnesses? That's what we need to know. Send me a message, and we can follow on the update with it.
But that would be interesting to know. But like I say, because you don't know what figure you're going to get, you don't know obviously what you're going to get until you open the little package that we showed. So after that, though, not to take away from the kit, it is a nice kit. It's very nicely done. The riveting's nice. The detail, they've obviously got hollow barrels. It's got, as we discovered after, like you mentioned, the landing
oleos with the suspension struts,
it's adjustable. Like I say, the blanks for painting it and weathering it, or just using it, like I say, to making the masking templates. Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it is. Another little thing you got with the kit, we showed it here, you don't get all of these deco options, but they've given you all the schemes. And the colour call-outs and the rest of it. So although you only get 2 or 3 schemes with it, wasn't it? They then give you, as you can see there, the expanded sheet with other options, which we're not sure if they may come along as a standalone decal sheet or what's happening, but it's got all other markings in there, which you don't clearly get, which is a bit odd. But again, it's a nice touch if you did want to go through and see other versions of and various things as well. So yeah, no, it's again very, very interesting. I think one of the biggest things that shocked all of us, though, wasn't it, when we got out the Revell kit as a size comparison? You know, if you see the review, you can see it on there that we actually put the parts side by side, and honestly, I never realised there was that big a difference. It's a good centimetre smaller than a 32nd scale kit, and I really thought that a 35th scale it would be negligible, because many a time I've used various parts from one from another, you know, and there hasn't been. But if you literally put them overlapping, you know, we've got it. I'll probably grab a little bit of footage because it's right at the end. If I just mute that, if I can get this to go through. Hold on, where are we? There we go. If I can get it to play ball. Typical. Come on.
Hang in.
Hang in.
Hang in.
So I've broke it.
Hey.
I've broke it.
It's still on dial-up.
There we go. It's all right. I was paused. So, let's get rid of that. There we go. You can see the difference. You know, it is, you know, just side by side, you can see how much difference in the scale they actually are. And then I think, you know, Nathan will shortly, I think, if I do this down in here. There we go. You can see at the front here how much It's over a centimetre longer when you
even
do
the fuselage is narrower as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And obviously it is the overall scale right the way through. And then I think down in here we've got a little picture of the wing section. If I just sort of roll that forward, you can see on the wings as well how different that is.
Yeah,
it's quite noticeable.
It's very noticeable.
But like we said before, it doesn't take away from the kit. That's the point, is it? It's a fantastic kit. It's very, very nicely detailed. And to be honest, there's been, shall we say, some grumblings around the interweb, but then that's what they do. You know, saying how you know, it's stupid because it's the wrong scale and all things like that. And again, in some ways, I'm quite interested to know how it's going to plan out, because obviously we know the Stuka's coming along with them as well, right behind it, which is going to be fantastic as well. If this does sort of work, you know, will it sort of adjust everything? Will some other manufacturers think, you know, they're getting a market share there because they're doing it in the scale, and all armour, as we know, is 35th scale. So either armour's going to have to go up to 32nd, you know, or it goes the other way. But it is a nice little thing where you could have, as we said before, now you've got that opportunity to do a nice little dio with a 109 or a Stuka with all the support equipment and all your soldiers, your bits and pieces that is readily available in 35th scale to go along with it.
In the right
instead of having to fudge it with force perspective, you know, as what we've said before, isn't it? You know, you can do it. It's not that noticeable, but now you don't have that problem. It's straightforward and go for it. And they are the first manufacturers, you know, that's done at a high end, you know, 109. And again, playing safe, but why not? You know, if they're testing the market and seeing, you don't want to test it with something really out, you know, sort of really far right sort of stuff, and see if it's going to sell, because clearly you're never going to know. But they've done a G6, which is probably the most common one of them all, and you know, it is that thing. I think it's worked. It looks fantastic. It looks really, really nice.
I think, again, ignore the scale and look at the quality of the kit. I think that's the way I'm looking at it. I think the scale's kind of irrelevant. I think how they've done it is, I know, like I say, it's another 109 and blah blah blah, there's plenty out there, but I think what they've done is really good. You know, the detail in it. I know John, who was with us, is itching to build, isn't he? He's proper chomping at the bit, and you know, we'll see how it goes together, because it's all right looking at it on a sprue, but obviously you need to see the buildability, shall we say. So hopefully he's going to get on with that soon, and we'll get it together, and we'll have a look. So
yes, definitely. But no, I think again we'll see how it goes together. But so far, so good.
Yeah, I think I've seen feedback from border models, the armour kits, and they all go together pretty good. So I can't see it really being an issue, to be honest, not in this day and age. But you never know. But yeah, different and interesting. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the Stuka, because it's a tank buster one as well. It's a G2 in it, so
yeah, it's got the big guns, cannons on
it. Going to be nice to see. So yeah, cool. So that's the 109. The next one we did was this one here.
Yes.
So just to let everybody know, by the time obviously this show goes out later on, our batch is actually coming today. I thought it was here yesterday. Obviously, I wasn't in on Monday. I was still on holiday. So if they're in before post, they'll be out today. If not, then they'll definitely 100% be out tomorrow.
Yes.
For everybody who's paid. Again, a nice little kit.
It is. Again, Nathan did a review on this one, as probably the most qualified of us all to talk about it, seeing as he's flown in it a few times.
He's got some hours in one.
He's got some hours in it. So, and again, it's typical Airfix right the way through, isn't it? You've got that sort of, you know, the way it goes together, simple construction.
Yeah.
You know, following along the usual bits and pieces with it. But generally, we're saying it's got a nice mix of raised and recessed details. Right the way through, and obviously with the wings, with showing through with the ribbons and the various areas like it, very nice indeed. Pilot figures, although as was pointed out, you do need a short one in the back.
Yes, you do need a youth in the back.
You need a youth to be sat there with a bag.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, very, very nice.
Again, it's typical new Airfix, isn't it, really? It's not overly complicated, but again, what's the other options for a chipmunk? I thought, hey, if we discussed it, is there an era club back in whenever that was, which is obviously they're not around anymore. And nobody's really tackled it, have there? There's been a few 72nd ones. I know AZ have done some, and I think I can't think of the company, but somebody else has. But in 48th, again, and to be honest, it's one of them as well that it would scale up nice to 32nd.
Yeah.
It's not massive, is it?
No.
ICM, you know, follow on from the Tiger Moth and
absolutely, it would fall through, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I don't know if they get enough mileage out of it though to actually warrant doing it. I think that's the problem, isn't it?
Yes. But again, really nice, straightforward. Say Nathan's done the review on that one. That one's up to watch right now as well. I made that live this morning, so that's all good. You can go off and have a look at it and see what you think of that one. And again, nice job on it. Very, very nice. Again,
I think obviously the aftermarket decal people will be all over this, as in Extra Decal and, you know, companies like that.
Yeah.
Lots of schemes. So,
yes.
Yeah, nice kit.
Very good. Yeah.
And
the last one, which I've got to queue up. Hold on, because I've done it, but it's hidden at the moment. Let me just go and grab it. Let me bring it in. Come on. That's it. Always the way. Sorry, I forgot about this one. I've just got to get it out of storage. Where are we? Do we want to go manage? And then we need to go to if it'll go. Oh no, hold on, we've lost it. Sorry, hold on. Where are we? There we go. So this will be the fantastic Hurricane.
Yeah.
We can see it just down in here, and again, it's very, very nice. But the big thing about this is it's £8, isn't it?
It retails at like £8.50. Again, and we were championed as Zvezda not only a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
For the quality of their newer kits and the price points and stuff like that, and this has literally landed at, I think it came in back end of last week. So I know Nathan's taken one. That review one he's done is his.
Yeah.
Again, they've thinking it as a snap kit, but I don't quite think it's a snap kit. I do think it would require some glue.
Yes.
But again, it's a Mark IIc. Yeah, it's not Armour Hobbies, but then it's cheaper.
I was going to say, the big difference is I've built the Armour Hobbies one, and that's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. That's still what I would say is one of the defining 72nd scale kits probably to date, just because the quality on it is amazing. But you're paying, you know, there is a price point to it, where this one, as you say, £7 or £8 for this particular kit. It's being touted as, say, as a snap kit, but when we were doing the review, it's not a snap kit. Don't think this is a kid's kit. As you can see, the detail on it is absolutely fantastic. It doesn't have the riveting, but it's got all the panel lining and the raised details as well. And things. And again, they've done this thing where you've got like the floor is the wing spar running across and the various things. But again, it brings it on price. And again, it's a Mark IIc, which is quite nice. It's the metal wing version with the cannons.
Yeah.
So it's a nice version of. You get 3 decal options in the kit, isn't it, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, 2 RAF and 1...
2 RAF. You get the Night Fighter, the Day Fighter, and then the Russian one, isn't it?
The Russian one, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really very, very nice. Again, it's one of those ones which is, I think it's not overcomplicated. It'd be great as a starter kit as well. But generally, I think it's a really, really nice Hurricane, full stop. You know, it's on par, let's face it, with Airfix or anybody else's.
I'd say so. This is, I think it's an ideal candidate for Turkey Shoot weekend build.
Yeah, it is. It'll be a nice, straightforward, quick build. Being ICM, you know it's going to go together really, really well. But the wheel wells were very nice into it, and you know it's got some nice touches. You do get the pilots. You get a couple of pilots, if I remember, in there and all the rest of it. But again, it's actually a really, really nice kit. And again, it's ease of construction. That's the nice thing with it. It's not overcomplicated. Like we said before, it's nice to have these types of kits because if you are a returnee to the hobby or new to the hobby, you've got beautiful fit. It's going to go together no problem at all. And you've got a really nice detailed kit. But you're not, it's £8. It's almost pocket money these days.
It
I
is,
know I wasn't
really.
on £8, or I wish I was on £8 as pocket money, but
Yeah.
you know, in the great scheme of it, that's really what it is. And it's nice that there are those options out there as well. So if you do want to home your skills and your bits and pieces, you know, perhaps you don't want to have a go at armour hobby or anything else purely because of the price of it. You're starting in this realm and away you go. But these, I think, easily re-rivet yourself, and then you've got something on par with it as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
So, but it is really very, very nice stuff down in there.
Definitely worth a look.
Oh, 100%, yes.
I'll leave them there.
So,
And then obviously you did the review on the scissors that I bought you down.
yes, the scissors. So this was yesterday's show. I did Tool Tuesday type thing, so we speak about obviously already general sort of Flory Models bits and pieces, but after a few minutes in, if you skip forward, you can see we talk about the scissors. So basically we did a sort of an on test with them. So we used looked at the Tamiya ones, and these are photo etch scissors, not to be you know, the ones I did the other day, which are the lethally stalk ones, as I call them, for doing decals and things. These are literally for doing your photo etch and your things like that in here. And I think if I just zip forward, you can see just down in here, we do like a side by side and have a good look at them. And they are really very, very nice. And to be honest, it's one of those ones, when I first looked at them, you do think, oh, they're toenail scissors.
Yeah.
Probably not. Unless you've got,
I think they're a bit more refined than that.
They're a bit more refined than that. But as I say, we have a look at both of them and we go through, and as I say, we've got both of them on the go. And you can see you've got, you know, like we said before, you take your pays your money, you take your options, isn't it? Tamiyas are a bit more expensive, obviously, than the AK ones, but it feels like it when you actually, you know, you've got them. I've got them here, all repackaged. But you know, it is this thing where, you know, the AK ones totally practical. They do the job. They're just a bit more heavy in the hand, a little bit more chunky. Where obviously the Tamiya ones are a lot lighter in the hand, and they're nice and soft, and they cut. But also the cut on them, the Tamiya ones, literally, there's just nothing left. And like I was saying to Matt before we came on air, the way I describe these is a bit like single edge cutters for normal sprue cutters. You know, obviously there's different grades of them going up there. Obviously I've got the cheapest ones you probably get here, which are the Master Tool ones, or you've got the most expensive, the Godhand ones. But then you're talking 15 quid versus 70 quid. So, and again, the difference in them isn't that great. It's just the finest of details. So if you are somebody who does a lot of time with photo etch and that type of thing, you're probably going to go for the best you can get. And you literally have no tab. There's no tab left over from using the Tamiya ones, and to be honest, there's hardly any with the AK ones. Yet when I did show it, because obviously I use my good old-fashioned orange ones as well, obviously you do get a tab with them, so you are going to have to do a little bit of clean-up. But again, just generally hacking through photo etch and stuff, they are fantastic, and I think it's definitely a worthwhile investment if you are somebody who does photo etch and you just use at the moment perhaps a knife on a board, and I show it in here as well, or you use a cheaper option. Seriously, have a look at these, because you will cut down all the cleanup time. And also it's that thing, as we know, getting parts off of frets, you want to keep them flat, and you don't need any kinks and bends, because you know they won't lay flat or anything else. And obviously if you've got a high quality item, it takes them off clean and flat without suddenly bending them, because they won't cut the first time. That's always your worry, isn't it? If it doesn't do it the first time, you know you've ruined it. But these came off, and as you can see, you know, there's really nothing left with them whatsoever. So again, very nice tool, I have to say. One of those ones where you look after it and you'd be good to go.
Yeah.
Last your lifetime, I would have thought. So very nice indeed, and a great for doing toenails. So
you tried them yet?
No, I think I have to get the grinder out for that. It's like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
So yes, but no, I think, you know, again, it's one of those tools where if you're just a general model, like I said, you're probably never going to really use them. But if you are somebody who works anything with photo etch, they're a must. You know, if you're a person who does like ships and that type of really fine detail, or radar systems, and you know, if the great thing about it is you can cut them all off the frets and have no cleanup. It's not like you got to just take the edge off and all of those things and end up ruining them and everything. But you can see doing it with the orange scissors does do it, but you still, it slightly bends it as it cuts it.
Yeah.
But in my defence, these are 20 years old.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So you know, it is. But,
you know, just an idea. I know they're obviously like the photo etch scissors, but you know how we've got the single edge sprue cutters, would it work as a single edge?
Do you know what? I don't know.
Do you know what I'm getting at? Because
yes,
you know how you were saying about bending, because obviously you're getting pressure from both ends, but if you've only got the pressure from, you know, I wonder if that'd work on photo etch.
Let's have a little.
I presume it would.
Yes, it does. The only thing is you're cutting it and going through.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's because it's all pressure on one side, you might end up with a bend.
That's.
You know, and obviously when you're using the scissor, because it's a clean shearing action.
Yes.
But in theory, if you look at the way a nibbler works, an aluminium nibbler, that's a block and a blade.
Yeah, it is.
So, you know, I'm wondering if maybe. The trouble you always find when you're using this type of item, as in, you know, a normal pair of sprue cutters, because you've still got that wedge shape, it's very difficult to get into the fine areas. And that's what I was saying in that little tool thing. I understand now why there's a curve, because you can get it up into there and just nip it. And because you've got the curve of it, it works.
See what cutting as well, where obviously it's not blocking it with the tool.
Yeah. So like on this bit you see underneath there, I'm taking off the most tiniest little photo etch part. And, you know, obviously the trouble you got with that, if it twists or you bend it or anything else, it's going to be a right pain. But it takes it off absolutely clean. And again, with no cleanup, because you couldn't clean that up if you tried.
Hey, we need curved single edge blades for taking small parts off sprue, so you can see where you're cutting.
Yes.
Like you say, if you've got that bit of a curve in, it's just a different angle, and obviously you can see where you're going. But
yeah, because normally, as I say, with these cutters, you're trying to keep it flat and go.
Yeah.
So
I think there's obviously a reason they're not.
Yes.
Been invented. It probably doesn't work, but in theory, it should, you know, be a good idea. But yeah. Did you actually try them on a sprue, or didn't you try them?
What, actually on the fret itself?
No, actually on a styrene sprue.
No, I didn't.
No.
I think it's one of those, it's probably designed for that.
Yeah.
I imagine it probably would, but the trouble that, again, if you're trying to use it on sprues, because it's a twin edge, I think it will slide a bit unless it can get a bite. You know, whereas again you've got that ping action as well. So if you were trying to take off small items, great thing about a single edge blade is that when you cut it, obviously it doesn't put pressure, so it just sits there. It either doesn't move or it just drops into the jaws, and you've got the tiny bit and you can flick off. This, I imagine, if you did it, it might ping off because of the pressure. So but yes, that was that one. And then obviously we just showed it as normally down on here. As my normal way of doing it. The other thing we looked at yesterday, we don't stock it, but as I say, there's a little thing up there, is these, which are the Stls, which are basically a set of pliers, which are a little bit odd, to be honest. It's one of those where you think, why? I don't actually understand the purpose of it, because after I've done this, a few people have mentioned to me that I'm using it for photo etch, and that's how I describe it, for bending photo etch, because as far as for using them for bending photo etch, they are brilliant. But a lot of people have said, but you're supposed to use them as a placement tool.
A what?
A placement tool. So they're supposed to be used for...
Like tweezers?
Yeah, basically tweezers. So you're supposed to be able to grab hold of small parts and place them on the model like a pair of tweezers. But I use them, I only described it in the review as a photo etch benders, which work amazingly well because it's got a tiny little jaw on it, and it's not like the others, which are big and unsightly, you know, because obviously, well, you'll see it in a minute. Obviously, it's with these guys, the Tamiya ones, which are my go-to ones. The trouble you got is they're quite big. So if you were doing fine detail work, you can grab hold of little tabs and stuff and just put the bend in. And you can do it really easy. But apparently, I have been informed by lots of people who've messaged me saying they're not just for photo etch, they're used as a placement tool. So I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't aware of that, but there we go. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
But for doing this type of work on small photo etch as well, I think they're amazing. They're brilliant because they are tiny and they get right in there. You can literally make perfect little right angles and tiny little bends and various bits like it with absolutely no problem at all because it's in there. So imagine bending, because I know, isn't it Tamiya tweezers for photo etch as well?
Yeah.
It's like that. That's what it's really doing. And that, you know, which obviously if you're using the smaller version, which is my go-to ones, you know, I just find this bit in the middle a bit funny and, you know,
yeah, it's a bit
not as nice, shall we say.
They are a bit clunky, but again, wouldn't a decent pair of tweezers do the same job?
Yes, yes, I'm sure it would.
You know, like actually talking of display, the flat tweezers or the pointy tweezers, because they are good quality, aren't they? So
yes. But again, if you're one of these people who's doing a radar in 35th scale, one of these big ones, that would be a perfect tool for you, because you can do it all. And afterwards, it's one of those things. I do this, and because it's all done live in one take, I did think afterwards another great one is sometimes I've done a lot of it like bar armour in photo etching. You know, you've got to bend it all out, you know, because it's obviously all flat, and you've got to bend it all. That'd be great for that, because you could just get it in between the bends, grab it, turn it, grab it, turn it. Whereas these, they're too big, you can't get in there. So again, everything literally has its place in this, like we've often said. But again, you can get tweezers which will do the same thing. And God knows that. I don't think actually these aren't that expensive. When I looked online afterwards, they're not like cutters that cost a fortune. They're quite cheap in the great scheme of things.
Right, okay.
So they're not horrendously expensive. You know, I think I saw them online. If you go looking, you can find them for about 15 quid.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
But yeah, but you say when you're looking at the end there on a side by side with the finest ones I've got, which are the Tamiya ones versus them, it's literally like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But you know, but again, one thing I do like about the Tamiya ones is you've got that 45-degree edge on them, or you can do 90 bends, so you just lay it up against the side of it. It's a nice little touch. Where obviously that one doesn't. So, but yeah,
that's it. Pay money, take your choice, don't you?
It is definitely. So anyway, that was my day yesterday, playing with tools. So, but yeah, no, it is. It's one of those, I think, where if you're into it and you photo etch, those scissors are going to be a must for you, I think. And again, something like that. But again, Tamiya do bending tweezers and stuff as well. You know, you've probably got them already, I imagine. But it's a nice option to have them out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Good job. Right, shall we scoot off to various questions and things?
Do you want to just quickly whip through the pre-orders?
Yeah, hold on. Where's them? Hold on. I've got 100 things open. I had a mirror a minute ago. Where they gone? Ah, there they are.
There we go. Right. So what we've got up here is just a couple of quick ones, because actually these kits are available.
Yes.
So it's the 1/24th DR1.
Yep.
And there's two versions of this. You get one with the blue max, which is the one Nathan's ordered, because obviously he needs a new medal for his collection.
Yes.
So yeah, these are out already. So if any members want them, get your names down and we'll get them in, as in quick. Okay. So yeah, just drop your name down below. And obviously the other one is the 1/24th GT40.
Nice.
Which again is available. So
oh, look, they've got Ford written on it and everything, so it must be licensed.
It's legit.
It's a proper one, because we did see a GT40 from, who was that release one? Was it last year, year before?
We've had Fujimis in.
Was that Fujimis who didn't have Ford on it?
No. No.
But we all knew what it was.
Well, it's quite unmistakable, really.
Well, yeah, it's very difficult not to. But no, very nice as well. So there's that one on the pre-order. And obviously we've got a few other bits and pieces still floating around. Just to answer this one on the Razor Crest, I've had loads of people saying about Bandai's and everyone else's. The big difference is between them is, don't forget, this is the 72nd version.
Yes.
Bandai's doing the 144 version, or the smaller one, and things like that. And also apparently AMT are releasing a version of it. But don't forget, Disney in its infinite wisdom has put the world into 3 sections. So I assume AMT's version will be the US release and licensing area. Means it'll be very difficult to get it in the UK. Like obviously Bandai is very difficult to get in the UK, because obviously Revel's got the licensing for it, so it has to come via Revel and then be imported. So, but anyway, this is the Revel 72nd one, so it's going to be big.
Yeah, well, just to follow up from that, because I know there's a question about will we be stocking the AMT one. The answer will be no, because we cannot stock it. Because, like you say, it's all Disney licensing and the regions that they put people in. So obviously AMT now must have rights to Disney over there in the US.
I thought so, yeah.
I presume. To be honest, I don't know how different it will be from the Revell one anyway. I've not seen it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, along with the Bandai one, when that's out, unless Revell rebox it like we have now with the Y-Wing and the A-Wing and all the other stuff, then no, we won't be getting that either, because for obvious reasons we can't stock it.
Yes.
So you'll have to go to said country to get your versions if they're the ones you want.
Yeah.
Be interested to see that Razor Quest. So like I say, it's not a small...
No, it's a big lump. So in 72nd, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
That's it. I can understand why Bandai went down the 144. And to be honest, I thought when I first heard it for the Rev 1, I thought it was 144 as well. Because it makes sense, but they're doing the 72nd, so it's going to be the big one.
The Bandai Slave 1 was 44, wasn't it? Yes. Which again, if you put that to 72nd, that's not a... Wouldn't be a small spacecraft, would it?
No, not at all.
A bit of a lump, so yeah.
The other one, just to update people on this one, is my main concern of this kit is obviously the lack of cockpit detail. I did get a message saying Quinta have now released theirs. So there's the updated, there's the update set for it, and I'm sure other people will as well. But like we were saying, it's quite a basic kit straight out of the box, and the cockpit was always a little bit of a letdown. Quinta's done the set for it, and it is, I think it's available now for the G. So the cockpit interior is basically the same between the G. It's only on the outside lumps and bumps and a few inside different ones. But I've seen all the pictures of it and it looks lovely and it's what it needs. So, you know, you're just paying an extra sort of £7 or £8 and you'll have a very nice set of it all in there then. So that's a really nice kit. I can vouch for that. Just
while you're on about cockpit detail sets and that, you know how we're on about the 109 and obviously the lack of dials and all that. I wouldn't stress about it because the aftermarket guys will go all over it.
Yes.
You know, it will be out like, I don't know if Quinta will or probably Edward or somebody like that. The 3D cockpit will be there, as will harnesses.
Yeah,
so
of course they will. Absolutely.
It's not a deal breaker not to get one. That's what I'm trying to get at.
And like we've said before, it is that thing where, you know, sometimes the kits come in at a very reasonable price because, you know, you just add a little bit of something else yourself, as in like a you know, colour photo etch set or a 3D cockpit or a set of harnesses and stuff like that. Yeah. Sometimes they're better than the kit ones would be anyway, so it's a nice touch.
Yeah.
So, and again, if you're a model maker, you could make your own.
You could.
Harnesses and stuff like that. You know, done it lots of times. Back in the day, that's what you had to do because no one invented them at that point.
Yeah.
Tamiya tape harnesses I've made them out of milliput, I've made them out of foil, I've made them out of blue tack.
Yeah, we're spoiled now, aren't we, really?
Yeah, we are spoiled with all this stuff now.
And stuff that's coming available, but yeah,
so yes, and obviously we've got the Vampire down there and all the rest of it. The Mosquito got released yesterday, as we know, so that pre-order's finished. Yeah. Sooner those comes in, people will be invoiced and all the bits and pieces along with that one as well.
They will, so,
yeah, right, cool. I think that's it in there.
Yep, should do some questions.
Okay, so first question up is from Ed, who said, "Hi chaps, I understand that you've purchased a 3D printer for the shop," which we have. "Have you thought about making PM or Flory badged glue bottle holders and tool holders, etc. for Microset and Sol? I know the shop and companies print them and all that." Yes, to be honest, yes, it is something we have spoken about it. Obviously, you know, it's not straightforward as just saying, "Yep, print it," because we need someone to design it. So, but we do know a couple of people. It's something we will speak about and all the rest of it. And as long as it's not in there with Matt, perhaps we'll get the shop printer to print some off, get some feedback, we'll do some testing, and we'll see how we go with it.
Yeah, because it needs to earn its keep, doesn't it? It can't just sit here as an ornament.
Yeah, it makes a great looking goldfish bowl.
Yeah, it does need to be used, and obviously we've only done that print of that rook off it so far.
The test pieces.
A test piece, but yeah, it does need to sort of get up and running. So,
but again, we'll look at obviously with cost effectiveness. If not, we might put it off to another company to actually make them for us and all the rest of it, if it comes out cheaper, whichever way it works out. But definitely, but the 3D printer, again, because it's new, we've only had it a couple of weeks in there, we're learning it and the various stuff, and as I say, it's a lot of an investment for the company as well. So as soon as we get a bit of time to play with it,
that's
the thing. It's finding the time to put aside to be able to do these things. Oh, I know that well.
Yeah, so. You stick the nail on the head. It is putting the time aside to actually get on with it at the minute. It's been a bit of a lot on.
Yes, quite a bit going on.
Yeah.
Danny says, hi Phil and team, loving the Vulcan build by the way, and as such I'll be getting one to build at some point and closely follow along with your video build. I've watched a lot of modelers online, and from time to time, and not naming names, some of them find fault with what seems to be a very nice kit. Does this annoy you as much as it does me? Because it can really put people off buying a nice kit and building it because of some bloke says that the rivet is missing or the shape of the canopy is at half a dog's hair out. Yes, I agree that the kits out there that are not quite right in places, but I'm not, and I quote, unbuildable, unquote. Yeah, I've spoken about it a lot of times, and to be honest with you, as a builder and reviewer, I get a lot of negative crap, hate and all the rest of it back from people saying about, oh, such and such says it's unbuildable and all the rest of it, and or it's easy for you and stuff. But I have had and seen and been sent details of where modelers have said it's unbuildable and this is a mistake with the kit and something else, and I've built that exact kit and never had a problem with it. And again, like I've often said, if you want to put something together that just falls together and away you go, I suggest you build Lego, because that is it. It's straightforward. We are modelers. We are, you know, you're building something, you're putting it together, and I think sometimes that these people, not naming names, clearly have lost what I would call basic modeling skills, you know, as in cleanup. Because again, I think we are spoilt now with modern kits, which are obviously, you know, with CAD and, you know, all this type of thing now gets rid of all the faults which used to be there, you know. So, you know, two halves now are expected to go together and be seamless. Yet when I used to model, they never did, because that's what filler was invented for, you know, or having to do sanding and filling. And to be honest, the Vulcan, some of it was my fault, admittedly, but this isn't perfect under here, this bay that you put in. So again, basic modeling skills just to take care of the seam line and put it right. It doesn't make the kit unbuildable. It doesn't detract from the kit. It just needs a little bit of work to get together. And that's what I love about the hobby. You know, I love it where it just needs that little bit of refining to get it in, because otherwise I might as well just build Lego. And you're there going click, 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 glue it, paint it. Where's the fun, eh? You want to be that thing, sense of achievement, that you've done it, you've put it together, isn't it? That's the thing, and that's what I like about the hobby. That's why I do this and don't build Lego.
Well, you do build Lego. I've seen it.
Oh, right. Okay. I do. I do build Lego as well, but that's when I don't like, you know, it's nice and de-stress, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think, I know over the past probably year and a half during the pandemic, you personally has had a lot of newbies come back into the hobby, or returnees, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, they ask questions to us and such like. And then we try to steer them in the right direction of, right, well, don't just go straight into the deep end and start on this kit. You do need to cut your teeth on something like, all right, we'll say it because it's thingy, a Tamiya kit.
Yeah.
Because they are so well engineered, it will go together and not give you any hassle just to get you going.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing you want if you're coming into some sort of hobby is like you get stuck with your Mac 2 VC10.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, you know, can try to run before they can walk as well. There's that. I mean, it's subject matter as well. Oh, I really like this subject, but it's probably not the best kit for you to begin with at the time. So you need to take a couple of steps back and get a couple under your belt, get them finished, which is the other thing as well, isn't it? Finish what you start.
Yes, yes.
Because definitely. It will hold you in good stead later on. Because a lot of us, we all get it, well, I get it, you get it, and I know the other lads get it as well, is you get halfway, three-quarters way through a project, and your mojo does go. You've got to push on. You've got to, because it's all tempting. You're looking at your stash, well, I might start that kit, and you know what I mean, and get sidetracked. Yeah. But I think once you get one finished, you'll get into that sort of flow of finishing.
Yes.
Rather than just putting them on a shelf of shame and leaving them, and I'll come back to it and I'll do it again. And I mean, I'm looking at one down next to me here, which is obviously my front end of me Lancaster. Yeah. Which has gone on a bit of a back burner, but I know I will finish it. 100%. It's you know, there's just been a lot of other stuff going off for me at the minute this summer. So again, a newbie coming back into it, pick something more straightforward, get it built, get it finished, and then you'll get that sense of achievement and, like Phil was saying, a bit of fulfillment in what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it is that in this day and age, everybody wants to just get on with it and get it done. Whereas I think in the olden days, you used to have to let filler dry and various bits and pieces. Kits took longer to put together. And people might have a few kits on the go as well and be working between them and stuff. But I think the expectation, people nowadays just want to get it done and built. And if it doesn't, the first thing you do is blame the kit. Where, actually maybe a little bit of user error. And to be honest, I have built various kits which I've been told are unbuildable, and I can see exactly where they've gone wrong, and I can tell them where they went wrong, and I can tell them that it's not the kit, it's them. Because I've found the fault. But that's the difference. Instead of perhaps pushing through quickly, they haven't taken the time to find what's wrong. Is it because something's not seating correctly that just needs to be put down? Is it that it just needs a little bit of shaping and make it fit? And then that's it. But that, to me, that's what modelling was.
Problem solving.
Yeah, it's problem solving. It is, like we said before, modelling is a little bit of a puzzle. You're putting the pieces together. Sometimes they don't go together and you've got to work out why. But to me, that's what modelling is. There's other hobbies out there which are more sort of engineering led and stuff like that. And there's other hobbies which, are more skill based, shall we say. And modelling, I think, somewhere in between that. It's obviously incredibly well engineered kits that go in there, but it's not like building something which is nuts and bolts and it just goes in and, prefab shapes. There is a little bit of work needed to put these kits together. But then again, we come back to that thing about the difference between a £30 kit and a £130 kit. Obviously the £130 kit 9 times out of 10 will be a straightforward build, just add glue, shape kit, and it'll fall together on its own. But some other kits may need a little bit of work to go together. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be as good as that 130 quid kit, but you may have to add a little bit of detail yourself. You might have to add more scribing, more riveting detail, but this is what modelling skills are all about. So sometimes, and we've done an entire show on this, and we've got shows going on at the moment talking about weathering and various things with it, but there's something to be said about a clean, pristine kit that's unweathered, because it can't hide behind anything. But a lot of people, I think they do a lot of weathering stuff because it hides errors. You can put it behind dirt and grime and panels and various things, so it is in some ways, if you've got old school clean modelling, as I call it, pristine finishing, they've got to be right 100% because there's nothing to hide behind. That's why I often think about the car guys and stuff like that who do these fantastic clean bikes and cars. It's all got to fit perfectly, and because it stands out. Because gloss work, you can't hide behind gloss work.
No,
gloss work, if you've made a mess of a joint somewhere, it will just exaggerate it,
Well, I think, like obviously Thursday shows we've been themed now, so we've got a direction that we're going in, and obviously we're going to carry on with the weathering conversation tomorrow. Obviously I missed last week's because I was travelling. But I reckon next week wouldn't actually be a bad conversation to have about the basics of modelling, like you say, and the skill set that you learn from this hobby as well.
Yeah.
From like say, construction to painting. There's a lot of things to learn.
I often say out there's a lot of angry modellers, shall we say. And these are the people who will jump online and complain bitterly about a kit and all the rest of it. And again, I often think that modelling, especially if I look back at my parents doing it and my brother and things like that, it's supposed to be a calming thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where people literally lose their over it. I'm like, really? It's a hobby, Is it? It's not worth getting that angry about.
No, it's not worth getting that stressed over, is it?
Yeah, that's it.
No,
why are you stressing yourself out? Seriously, if you're that stressed, go build Lego, go play a computer game or whatever. You shouldn't be doing this hobby. Honestly, it's supposed to be relaxing and fun. And that's the big thing to it.
Yeah, you probably, like I say, you've said it there. Really, it should be. You should get enjoyment out of it. If you're not enjoying it, don't do it.
No,
it's like anything in life, isn't it? Really, if you don't enjoy it, I've kind of learned that a while ago. Even with work, if you don't enjoy your work, then try and find something that you do enjoy doing, because you've got to do that for however many hours a day for the next however long in your life. I know it's not as easy for everybody to do that. It's a bit generalistic, but it helps you personally, I think, and obviously mentally as well. You know,
absolutely.
You know, people, a lot of the guys who are on the forum do it just to a bit of escapism.
Of course it is, absolutely. And one thing we've learned through COVID, you know, we've got lots of our first responders, you know, or blue light, you know, card holders, as I call them. And they do this because they've had a shit time at work, and it is their couple of hours where they can just switch off and they can just get on with it, you know, and absolutely that's what it's all about. And like I've often said, if you can finish a model, it's nice to push through and get it done because you have that sense of achievement. It's done and all the rest of it. But like I've also said many times, if you've got a kit that's fighting you and you've got that sense of dread thinking, oh, I've got to do this to that kit, start something else. Put it in a box, put it away, and just build something so you can get the mojo back and you're happy building to be working it. There's no point thinking, you know, oh, tonight I've got to do this and I hate it, because you shouldn't be doing it. If that's the case, start another kit, put it away and come back to it. And maybe, you know, as you say, 6 months down the line, a year down the line, 5 years down the line, you think, do you know what? My skill set's improved, my mindset's improved, and I'm going to finish that one off because it's still a great whatever it is. And that's the reason you're building it. It's not because it's the kit, it's what you're building. And you know, you've obviously chosen, you wanted to build it because you wanted that representation of it as well. So again, definitely always build happy. I need a t-shirt.
Yeah, you do. We'll better get you
build happy.
Hey, build happy. Yeah. I mean, I am the worst for flicking around on doing builds. And I think I did. My mojo did go, you know, earlier on in the summer, distracted with watching the football and other things that were on at the time.
Yeah.
But it's slowly coming back. My mojo's coming back. I've been carrying on with the grad, like I told you.
Yeah.
Which I'm quite enjoying. It's quite an involved build. It's a trumpy kit. It's quite a lot to it. Full chassis engine and all the, you know, like bit like the one you're doing.
Yeah.
But if I'm really in a rut, I will paint a figure or a bust because then I can just properly zone out then and relax and just put in paint on something, which is what I quite enjoy doing. And then slowly but surely the mojo will come back. It always does. How you never get a mojo lapse over a year is beyond me. I always have one over summer. Winter's not so bad, but summer, yeah, definitely, where you just seem to just plough on regardless.
Carry on regardless. Have that on the back of the t-shirt.
Yeah.
But no, I think, yeah, absolutely. I think we will do a full show on this. This is a great one for a Thursday show. But again, you know, as you say, you get people on the internet and as I say, sometimes I think things may be said and titles are said like Unbuildable kit. It's a little bit of clickbait as well.
Clickbait.
You know, they want to get their views for whatever reason. You know, if they get 10,000 views and they've earned £5 from YouTube or whatever it is, it's, you know, that's more what it's done. It's not the kit. You can't just blame the kit. But I know there's a lot of people out there, and to be honest, that's why I don't do YouTube, is because they will blame the kit and the various things. And I might have built the kit or I know it, and you know, it's not accurate information. You know,
I think it's negative though. It's the negativity of it, isn't it? Right, if a kit's got a problem, like you've come across a problem, and say I'm recording myself building it, the thing for me to do, I think, as the guy who's building it and putting it out there, is how to solve that problem, not just bash the kit because it doesn't fit. It's to say then, like you always do, is like if you're building something, this is the way to get around it to make it easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all too easy just to step back and just have a go at the kit. It's I mean, you know, we've mentioned it how many times about Kitty Hawk and stuff, haven't we? You know, they're not the greatest kits in the world, but you can build them.
Yes.
You know, but they are for the more skilled modeler.
As I say, probably my second favourite build that I've done in the last 20 years is still their Seahawk. Yeah. You know, because again, and it's not a straightforward kit, it's a challenging kit, it's got errors all the way through it, but it's fixing the errors was part of the kit. You know, it doesn't detract from the kit. That's my point. You know, I think a lot of people are very quick to sort of judge and blame the manufacturer that it's unbuildable and this isn't right and, you know, what the hell are you doing? And, you know, unless it has got a glaring mistake in the kit, you know, yes, you can blame them. So like the rotor head is molded back to front for obviously folding the rotor system. But again, I didn't suddenly go on a mass rant of, oh, it's unbuildable and, you know, they owe me £100 for a new kit. Because all I did was chop it off, turn it 180 degrees and glue it back on. sanded and filled, and it's good to go, and it's like 20 minutes work. I can't be dealing. Why go on a rant about how bad it is when by the time I've had a rant, I could have fixed it? And you're just carrying on. Yes, it's not right. Yes, it's a fault with the kit. Yes, it shouldn't be there, but it doesn't make it an unbuildable kit. Just fix it and push on. You know.
Yeah, I think to be honest with you, I mean we've touched on this before as well. I think where probably a lot of newbies get stuck, you know, is instructions not being right. And I've said this is my bugbear of the instructions not numbered correct, or you know, not telling you clearly enough what goes where. It's very vague. Yeah. Because I think that is a massive part of, you know, a kit, to be honest. Even I think that's more important, even regardless than the styrene that's in the box.
Yes. Yes.
You know, take IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
Okay, their instructions are as straightforward and as simple as you're ever going to get.
Yes.
It's very hard to make a mistake on IKEA furniture unless you're not following the instructions. And that's the same with a Tamiya kit. Yeah?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
All singing and dancing instructions, but they're very easy to understand. They're very straightforward. Yeah. And if you don't follow that build thing to a point, you're going to come unstuck.
Absolutely.
Because there's a reason they do it as they do it, how it's engineered, yes?
Yeah. And that, to be honest, was Kitty Hawk's downfall, is because theirs aren't easy to follow. The numbering was usually wrong.
Yeah.
And they weren't, you know, as I say, they were put, sometimes the kits went together in a certain way that actually made it very complicated. It could have been done easier. Yeah. And some different angles of showing how things go together as well, because a lot of it was very vague. It's like, it's there. Where?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the nice thing, like Airfix recently, you know, when we were reviewing the Chipmunk and that, multiple angles, showing you different coloured parts so you can see where it is.
But saying that, old Revell instructions were awful. Let's be honest, they was terrible, weren't they?
Yeah. Hasegawa's used to be as well, when they were just cut the fold-out sheets.
Yeah. But obviously they've revised their now instructions. Revell instructions are very good. Obviously I can think it for the E-Type again behind me that I built. Really nice, really straightforward to follow, very, you know, very easy really. And that, again, it takes that stress away from a build when the instructions are correct.
Yes.
So, again, this is probably more for a Thursday show than a PM show, isn't it? So we'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there. We'll carry on this conversation. Okay, James is basically saying about with the arrival of the Chipmunk, there's been a lot of discussion from the chaps about RAF trainers need to be produced in 1/48 scale. What about the Avro 504? Now, for people who don't know, this is a very early World War I trainer that carried on until the 30s, I think it was, wasn't it?
I think so.
But again, I think the answer is Wingnut Wings never did it. So
I don't think they did they? I think
not that I'm aware of.
Rodin's done one.
Yeah.
Rodin do an Avro 504. I don't know if they don't do one in 48, to be honest. Again, we've discussed this. It's going to be very niche. I don't think Airfix are going to go down the World War I route, full stop.
No,
I can't see it happening. I think the only time they would do World War One, to me, if they was going to do it, would be an SE5A or a Camel in 1/24.
Yeah.
Which would make sense.
Yes.
I don't.
I can't see them doing it.
I can't see them going down that route.
It's too niche.
It's too niche, and there's not going to be enough legs in it for sales.
No, definitely.
I really don't. But I could be wrong. Watch it. Next thing, there will be one in their catalogue, but I don't know.
You never know. Okay, next one up is from Robert, and he's basically, I'll paraphrase this a little bit. He's got trouble with the Flory Models wash. So when he's putting his gloss coat over the top, matte varnish Vallejo, it's releasing, and then it's smudging. Yeah. Now, the wash itself, when it's totally gone off, should be fine to be brush painted over the top, because I've done it a million times before, and I know loads of people who use it as well for it. But don't forget, if you're putting a wet coat over the top of it, it will rehydrate the clay, and then if you keep brushing over it, it's going to release it, because it's going to rehydrate and it's going to bleed. But one and done, as I call it, literally just putting 1 or 2 brush coats over it should just hold it in place, and you won't have a problem with it. I know you talk about down in here about obviously you can't use other things and airbrushes and stuff, but me and Matt did say about this beforehand, it might be worth, just for final stuff like this, is to aerosol cans. So you can get an aerosol can of like matte, go outside, just give it a quick dance over it, just a light coat right the way over it, job done. So you're not killing your 3 kids and all the rest of it. Yeah, I know yours as well, because when I had my kids in the late 90s, literally it was that thing where that's when I moved away from enamels and everything, and technically lacquers even in those days, and I went all acrylic in a way of sort of saving the kids, the baby's lungs. So definitely, but again, a nice little tip for that one: buy a can of matte finish, go outside, just give it a dust over, job done. Works really, really well.
Yeah, it does. To be honest with you, we've been, again, over on paints and stuff like that. I think once a paint's fully cured, it's very hard to reactivate it. I think the only one is because obviously it's a lacquer one, and so those things will react with anything anyway because it's so hot.
Yeah.
It's about the only one that will react. I mean, an oil paint wash, once it's dry, you can put, without having to put a sealer coat in, you can go over the top of it and you won't reactivate it.
No.
You've got to think you've got to let the thinners or whatever evaporate.
Yeah.
Once that's gone, then you're on pigment, which then is locked in.
Yes.
So, yes.
Definitely. Okay, Graham's talking about scrapers, about the scraper that I use, not the one with the lethal point, the other one, which you mean this one, because to be honest, it's the only one I own. Here, this is 76. This particular one here. We're currently out of stock of it, to be honest with you, but your number for it is 09976. The picture, don't take any notice of because it's horrible, but as you can see in the little close-up there, in that one, that's the shape. So it's a double-edged one. It's like an arrowhead. So it's not lethally sharp, but it's got the curve as well, which is great for getting little areas. We're currently out of stock. Our supplier is out of stock. So as soon as they come back in, obviously we'll get them back in, but we don't know when that will be at the moment. As you know, this type of the time of the world, we're a little bit all over the place for when these things are coming along. Billy as well, I will just paraphrase this little one. He was basically saying he bought a Tiger Moth from PM Models and it arrived within a couple of days, fantastic service and all the rest of it. Checked it, unfortunately the fuselage half was missing. Anyway, spoke to Andy. Andy put him in contact with Airfix and he got the next day the missing part through the post. So anyway, with no quibble whatsoever, he just wanted to highlight the first class service from Airfix.
They've always been good, haven't they, for that?
They have.
I think obviously there is a bit of quality control issues, shall we say, on some things. Again, instead of moaning and griping and going on Facebook and all the other things and this is bad, get in touch with Airfix and they will get you the pot out. They obviously know there's issues with certain things of quality control, and they've obviously got a plan in place for it. So instead of, like I say, just shouting about it all over the internet, contact Airfix and they'll send you the part
to the company directly.
Within a day or a couple of days, you'll get the spare part you need, and
Yeah. Again, I would just say this. Recently, it was even one of my members had posted up on social media, and they were basically slagging off the company. I'm not going to say which one or anything else like that. The thing is, I spoke to the company about it because I knew he was a member. He hadn't contacted the company.
Yeah.
And to me, like, they were like, we'll, tell him to get in contact and we'll sort it for him. It's not a problem. Accidents happen, mismolds. And to be honest, this was over a mismold and all the rest of it. And, again, it's only because I recognised the name and I picked up on it. And literally, because I know people like you do. And I simply said, oh, such and such, can we do something? He's like, we haven't even heard from him ourselves. So how can they fix the problem if you don't go to the company and ask them? As I say, they're not faceless corporate jobs. They can help out. Airfix is a classic because, let's face it, the Vulcan bombers have mismolds all over it. Chipmunk, apparently half of it may be missing, and various other kits as well. But they know it and they fix it and they send them out. And again, next day service, really, you can't quibble with that.
And Kudos, Revell are the same, aren't they? I know there's a
Revell's very good.
There are a few companies out there, but again, what you need to do is, even if sales as the stockists and distributor is actually go to distribute. I know with, like, obviously Tamiya and stuff, you go to hobby company.
Yes.
Edard or whatever, perhaps Creative can help you, or Hannon's.
Yes.
Technically they're the importer. That's where you need to go, and that's your first line of call for spares. Yes. And then if they can't do it, then they will get onto the manufacturer themselves. I know a few from the Far East can be troublesome to get parts from.
Yeah.
Shall we say? but I don't think it's impossible. But your first port of call is obviously us.
Yeah.
As the shop or whoever you've bought it from.
Your retailer where you bought it from. Yeah.
And then obviously there is a chain to go from. But just don't go jumping all over the internet, shouting and screaming and giving.
Again, angry modelling again. See, that's what it is.
Well, it is when obviously, like you've just said, somebody's not even contacted the manufacturer to say, "Can you get me a spare part?" Obviously.
Right, he's saying again. I'll slightly paraphrase because it's a biggie. He's saying about the starter sets. The problem we've got with our new starter sets, we want to do it is that a lot of the tools we want to put in with it aren't in stock. So we can't put a starter set until we've got masses of all the stock to build the starter sets and then carry on like that. As soon as we get them all in, it will go through. What's going to go into it, again, take this somewhat with a pinch of salt, but basically you're going to have sprue cutters, scraping tools we've spoken about, it'll be tweezers, it'll be sanders, all the various bits and pieces. It's going to be roughly an everyday kit of what I use all the time, and Matt uses, and Nathan and Andy and all the rest of it. We've had a bit of a talk about it. It's our most used thing. It's not going to be everything, but it's going to be a pack, and it'll be what we call not the cheapest end of it, but quality end of it, but definitely not the most expensive, because it is a starter set. So it's not going to be, God-hand cutters and all the rest of it. It'll just be, the stuff that we really sell in the store and all the rest of it. So, but again, watch out for that one. Part 2 of it is obviously, as you know, after I've built these two, I'm having a break from doing kits, and I'm going to be doing the tutorial series and the bite-sized stuff for a couple of months. So, and we'll be redoing all of those videos and that. So he was basically saying about, will I be just using lacquer paints because that's all I use? No, obviously when I do the airbrushing, I'll be showing you how to do acrylics, even enamels, and then obviously we'll be talking about lacquers from all 3 mediums as we use them at the moment, okay, as we make our way through. So when we redo it, there'll be a special one on just using enamels, there'll be a special one on just using acrylics, there'll be a special one on just using, obviously, lacquers. Generally, they all spray roughly the same anyway. Once you've got your mixes and obviously your settings all set, that's what the individuals will show. Then we'll move on to the others about putting down paint, because it doesn't matter if you put down acrylic, enamels and lacquers, they all go down the same, okay? So that's not a problem. And then the last one, technically we'll leave that for today because Lindsay is talking about the Night Fighter version, about weathering it. I've done loads of videos on blacks and weathering blacks and everything. The X15 will be the last one, have a look at that. But we'll defer that to tomorrow night because obviously we're talking about weathering, so we can answer that question in depth for you on that particular show. So obviously watch the live show or the recorded version of it tomorrow. We'll move your question over to that one and then we can answer it in full in a lot more depth and can show you a few bits and pieces as well.
Yeah.
Cool. There we go. Right. I think we'll leave it there because we've gone over an hour.
Oh, blimey. Beautiful.
We're over our allocation time.
Right, we'll have to cut it back then. A lot of editing.
Yeah, we'll edit some of this out. No, we won't. Anyway, that will do for us today then. Thank you very much for joining us. And we will see you obviously next week. Remember, you get all your bits and pieces over on the store. Hold on, I've lost my little things. To be honest, the specials and things haven't really changed because the guys have been down in here and they've been catching up and everything. But we've still got sheep in stock if you want to. We've got that twin pack we spoke about last week and everything. We're out of stock of Vulcans. There's that G6. That is up with you right now. Yeah. And obviously all the other ones that are down under.
I mean, a lot of them, to be honest, are coming back into stock. Pretty odd stuff is as well. We've got some Vulcans coming back in. So yeah, just keep an eye. And again, with the specials, what's out of stock will be removed, and me and Andy will go through it when I see him again, and we'll get some new ones up for the weekend. Because as you can see, the damaged box stuff is going.
Yes.
So they'll be removed, and some will be in its place.
Yes, definitely.
Grab them while they're there, because like I say, they are cheap. So
that's it, and when it's gone on that section.
It is, yeah.
Anyway, we will call it quits right there then, guys. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's an absolute pleasure. Obviously, me, Matt, and hopefully Andy will be back with us next week as well. So if you want to join us for the Wednesdays, it's obviously PM show dies. If not, we'll all be on tomorrow night as well for the Flory Models live show in the evening as well. So yeah, till next week, everybody. Happy modelling. Take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.